Bob is ready for some more bombastic fun with today's game, B-17 Bomber, for your Intellivoice equipped Intellivision. So let's go ahead and take B-17 Bomber, pop it in my Intellivoice, which is hooked to my Intellivision, and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game.
Mattel Electronics presents B-17 Bomber.
B-17 Bomber was published by Mattel and released in 1982. Although it is technically possible to play it in an Intellivision without the Intellivoice add-on, it will be near impossible to do well, as the voices in the game give you vital instructions. It was programmed in part by Bill Fisher and Steve Rooney, who joined the project after finishing another Intellivoice game, Space Spartans, which I plan to review shortly after this one. The manual opens with the following. In the last years of World War II, the Allies prepared for the biggest invasion in history. Across the English Channel, Fortress Europe waited. From the North Sea to the Mediterranean, countless air raids were flown over factories, airfields, and refineries, and warships. The USAAF B-17, together with the RAF Lancasters and Stirlings, took heavy explosives to key targets across Europe. The bombers met fighter planes in deadly flak. It took great teamwork and fast reflexes to complete each mission and get back to England. Now the computer lets you relive some of those heroic battles in the sky. B-17 Bomber is an early flight sim for one player only. At the beginning of the game, you can select one of 6 difficulties using the first 6 buttons on the keypad. The higher the number, the less bombs you start with and the tougher the enemies, although you can adjust the number of bombs you carry before takeoff. The overlay is extremely helpful when learning the game. The upper side buttons are used to fire guns, drop bombs, and select targets on the map screen. The lower side buttons also fire guns and drop bombs, but the lower left side button can increase your engines and flight speed, while the lower right one can decrease your engines and flight speed. The first button on the keypad brings up the pilot screen where you can adjust your altitude, pitch, which is the angle your nose is pointing, and the horizontal alignment with the disc. Buttons 2, 7, 9, and 0 go to one of your 4 machine guns placed at the 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 6 o'clock positions respectively. Button 3 allows you to view from your bomb bay door where you can aim and drop bombs. Button 4 brings up your gauges. On this screen you can get details on various aspects of your bomber. The 6th button allows you to see targets and their point value when you put your crosshair over them on the map screen first. The clear button brings up your map screen, and the enter button brings up your score. And the disc is used to move your crosshairs on the various screens. You start the game on the map screen. Here you can use your cursor to move over various targets, press the preview button to see them and their point value, and press the upper side buttons to select the target to fly to. On the map screen, the ships in the water represent warships. The black buildings represent factories. The white letter A's represent anti-aircraft batteries, and what looks like blocky airplanes represent enemy airfields. When you are ready to take off, you can go to your gauge screen. Before taking off, you should adjust the number of bombs you are carrying by using the upper side buttons. You can carry up to 17, but the more you carry, the less fuel you'll have. Once you have selected your desired amount of bombs to carry, you can take off. In order to take off, you should rev up your engines to 2500 RPM and raise your airspeed to at least 90 miles per hour. Then press the disc down to raise your pitch and start climbing. Once airborne, you will automatically fly to the target you selected on the map, and you can change that target at any time you wish. While you're in the air, you will have to face enemy aircraft known as bandits. You will be warned by one of your crewmates when enemy bandits are headed your way, and which o'clock they are coming from. By pressing the correct machine gun button on your overlay, you can go to that gun, using the disc to aim, a crosshair, and using the side buttons to fire. The amount of ammo left in that gun will be shown on the top right of the screen. Sometimes an enemy will hit you at that machine gun, and 3 bullet holes will appear on screen. If that happens, you will no longer be able to use that machine gun until you return home for repairs. While flying, you could also get attacked by flak. The manual recommends that you change speeds and directions to avoid getting hit. As you near your target, you will be told that the target is approaching. At this point, you should go to your bomb bay and use the crosshair to aim and the side buttons to drop bombs on the target. You will be told if you hit it. If you have taken too much damage from flak, there's a possibility that when you go to the bomb bay, your crosshair will be invisible, although you can still aim and drop bombs by feel. I found that in order to see the targets, you should wait to go to the bomb bay until the voice tells you they're nearby. A couple of times I tried to view the bomb bay early, but I couldn't see the target until I left and returned. You can also go to the bomb bay at any time to drop bombs to lower your weight and help save fuel. After reaching a target or two, you'll most likely need to head home before you run out of fuel. To do so, go to the map screen and select your original takeoff spot. Once you cross the border, you will automatically land and be ready for another takeoff. The manual says that if you are too high, you will need to set your pitch for a slow descent, and it also recommends reducing your RPMs to conserve fuel, but your airspeed must remain at least 90 miles per hour to avoid stalling. It also says that if you need to jettison fuel to maintain airspeed, you can press either top side button. Personally, I never needed to do any adjusting when returning home. I just automatically landed once I crossed the border. Scoring-wise, you get various points for various targets, and 2 points for each bandit you shoot down, but you lose a point every time you are hit. The game pretty much goes on indefinitely. If you clear out enough targets, new targets can take their spot. Your game ends when you crash, usually because you have run out of fuel. Conserving fuel and taking your time is a huge part in the game. You may want to try to take out as many targets as possible during a single run, but truthfully, you'll probably only get to 1 or 2 targets before having to return home. Graphically speaking, the game has a solid look for an early flight simulator. Sound-wise, the game has some pretty basic Intellivision sounds for the most part, but I thought that the voice work was very entertaining and added a lot to the game. Except the Mayday voice can get annoying if you have a long descent after you've run out of fuel.
Fighters 3 o'clock. Fighters 3 o'clock. Watch out. Watch out for flak. Fighters 12 o'clock. Watch out. Check on close. Target inside. Got him. On the way. That was on target.
Family-friendly wise, the game would most likely get an E for everyone rating if released today. Currently at PriceCharting.com, the game has a value of $8 loose, $12 complete, and $20 new. So what did I think of B-17 Bomber? I liked it. It doesn't hurt that I'm a fan of flight sims and over-the-top voice work, but honestly, this title is very impressive, especially for a game from the early 80s. They really crammed a lot into this little cartridge. That's not to say it doesn't have some drawbacks. It can be hard to hit bandits, and you'll need to make a lot of return trips as fuel goes by pretty quickly, even with reduced bombs on board. I also wish that there was a more linear mission mode, and that flying from your home to a target didn't take so long. After a while, it can feel a little bit tedious, but drawbacks aside, I still enjoyed my time with the game, and I wouldn't mind playing it more in the future. So where am I going to rank B-17 Bomber? It's going to be a little higher than the last Intellivoice game I reviewed, Bomb Squad, somewhere in the high teens. I do like the classic Space Battle more at 17, but I will put this over Pinball at 18. So out of the 51 games that I'll rank for the Intellivision, B-17 Bomber is dropping some bombs at the 18th position. If you enjoy flight sims, old games, and cheesy voices, you should check out B-17 Bomber. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me both on the Facebook and the Twitter, and click the bell so you don't miss any future videos. At this time, I'd like to thank Janitor Sean from the Atari 7800 Homebrew Podcast for supporting the show on Patreon. If you would like to sign up to support the show and gain access to exclusive perks, please go to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care and don't get so bomb crazy that you don't have enough fuel to return home.
Mayday. Mayday.